Okay.
Oh, I guess that's a good indicator of when we're going live. It makes VoiceOver say Zoom.us has a new window.
Yeah, but that could mean a multitude of different things.
True. I wish it would just say Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know why we have the Zoom.us. It's kind of a weird title.
Although that would kind of get a little confusing, though. Talking about, like, Apple's, magnification software and...
Yeah, true. Oh, is that what happens when you open Zoom for magnifier? It says Zoom as a title.
Well, it's really a feature. It's not an app. But, I mean, they're
Sorry.
both called Zoom.
Right. You
And
understand.
then there's the Zoom microphones.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So that's not confusing at all.
Right?
Right.
And there's a TV... Man, that TV show was cool. It was on PBS. It was called Zoom, and they would do a lot of different, like, science experiments and stuff. It was very educational, but really freaking awesome. I miss that show.
All right. I'm sorry for people watching the camera. I am attempting to... I didn't know I hadn't logged into Twitter on this computer.
Oh. Whoops.
Episode 155, Michael's M1 Fun.
Right? Yeah, Michael's M1 fun. That is awesome.
Well, this time, the way it's going to be, if you are subscribed, you will have a notification. We're just going to run this.
Okay.
At least on my end, Taylor, sometimes you can distort your microphone. So just
Yeah,
be careful.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I had just forgot to mention it because it hadn't happened till just then.
My bad.
Really quick, I want to make sure if I end up talking loud, if I end up just... Yep, slightly.
Oh,
Yep.
God, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
don't do that.
I mean, I don't... Actually, that's probably a lot louder than I would have a need to talk on the podcast anyway.
But still.
Sometimes, though, it's just good to know your limits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that probably was a lot worse for you guys because I'm willing to bet it pulled a team talk and made it really clippy and sharp.
It did.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
All right, now I'm going to set up recording.
Okay. Are we doing the cloud or local?
Local.
Is that my phone?
And I'm going to mute my phone.
I was like, wait, is that mine?
I thought that was mine, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I would have felt it on my watch if it were my phone.
Probably a WhatsApp message.
All right. I'm going to test something real quick. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zoom, why aren't you changing screens? That's weird.
Well, since Michael
What are you
just got up
testing?
on top of his mic, you want to say something real quick, Taylor?
Wait, do you want me to distort?
No. Actually, you already said enough. I was just making sure our levels are relatively similar.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm trying to test is if I talk, my video should come up on screen, but it's not.
I don't know.
There we go.
Yeah. One of these days I feel like I should do video too, but I just don't feel like messing around with writing and whatnot.
The reason why it would not come up is because I don't know, because it's showing Taylor as being the speaker if I don't pin myself.
Huh?
Oh, you know why? Because of her constant background noise, probably from her
That's the
refrigerator
only thing I
or
could
whatever.
think of.
Yeah. Gotta love apartment living. So how do we fix that, Michael?
I pinned myself, so since I'm the only one doing video, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Well, if you think that is bad, Taylor, like, when my girlfriend and I lived in a studio apartment, obviously before we got this place, the air conditioning system and the heating system was so loud, like you would just hear this like throughout the whole apartment. There was
Wow.
no dealing with it. Like, it was there.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, it was nice.
And interestingly, whenever I'm looking at the live stream for YouTube, it says something went wrong on the accessibility chat. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Some weird stuff. So,
I mean,
Did we get taken down?
oh.
no, we're still there.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Yes, because I
Okay.
just refreshed it. All right, we ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Clubhouse, Team Talk,
Yep.
Discord,
Whatever else.
and whatever else we decide to mention.
Right. There hasn't been any big tech news, has there?
No.
I mean, unless we want to talk about Intel being a baby about Apple's M1 chip.
Actually, let's talk about that. And YouTube, I will not be observing the chat because of if there is chat that comes up at some point. There's just some weirdness going on with that. So I am not sure what's
He'll just destroy his microphone instead.
What's wrong with it? Oh, is it just not working?
I was trying to adjust my camera, so my apologies.
No, I'm saying the chat. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's just something went wrong, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
No.
All right, so are we ready to do this thing?
Yep,
Yep.
I am.
All right, we're recording. Everything's going great. Let's do this. I don't think it'll be a long show today, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
All
It'll
right.
be a good one.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the iACast. All right, with me today I have Taylor Arndt
Hello, everyone.
and Jason Earls.
Hello, everyone.
So, we haven't done a podcast in a few weeks, so our apologies, but I think we have a really awesome topic for you all today. And but I want to start out with some interesting news that we found from Intel. They're using some interesting marketing techniques. And I saw an ad that said, these are against Apple, by the way. Intel basically trying to stay relevant. And I saw this ad that said, if you're trying to launch a rocket or play Rocket League, you won't be using a Mac. And this is in response to the M1 Max, being so much better than the Intel chips on laptops and in the Mac Mini. And it's really interesting because they're also giving M1 Max to tech pundits that are, usually Windows fans to say, is it really that much better? And of course, even these folks are saying they are. It's just Windows can do things that the Mac can't. So I want to first get your thoughts, Jason. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's interesting because not only are they doing that, but they've also been purported to use some questionable benchmark tactics, kind of trying to show that that their Intel CPUs are faster, and they've using software that's specifically only available on Intel chipsets. And I think really it's kind of Intel being a bit of a baby. I have no problem with I guess something their CEO had said in one of their meetings is how is it that a lifestyle company is out CPUing us? We are Intel. We are, we make the CPUs. Well, aside from AMD, but and Qualcomm and others. But it's just, I really feel like if I were Intel, I would be making statements more so with my chips rather than my words. So it's very interesting. And it really shows, if you think about it, that the M1 is something to keep an eye out on, and Apple's other succession of chips down the line.
So, Jason, are you saying that Intel should put all the chips on the table?
Well, sure. I guess so.
Bet big or not at all? Taylor, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that Intel is just trying to, defend themselves because I think that, they obviously know that Apple created their own chips, but it's like they think that they can, overpower, I guess, Apple, but in reality, like they don't know what Apple is capable of. Wow. Three,
Outtake. Apple.
three.
How do you spell that? First of all, I need to know so that when I say the
Don't ask me.
Apple is capable of. I love
Three.
it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. So Intel is trying to defend itself because they don't know what Apple is capable of, and they think that Apple's CPUs are going to be a lot inferior to what Intel can produce. And so that is kind of what I think that they, they're like, well, Apple is not a CPU company. I bet they can't come close. But in reality, Apple is making some really great chips, but Intel kind of has to, own up to like, oh, we actually have some serious competition now. And so I think, Intel is just kind of being a little bit of a baby about it. Also, like Jason said.
Well, I think they're scared, kind of, because,
Right.
the M1 really is doing so well. And Apple has, if you think about it, a lot of experience making chips, especially in the
Exactly.
low power, high efficiency category. I mean, they've really started making chips. I want to say, what was it, Michael? The iPad? The original iPad was when they started making their own chips?
Yep.
So that was like, what, the A4?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, because I don't think they started with one. Yeah, holy crap, it has been that long.
Wow.
That's insane.
Well, it's really interesting because even AMD, guys, AMD is beating Intel. They have some chips on their 5000 series that are 7 nanometer, and that was a year ago. Intel is barely getting into the 7 nanometer area, and I believe that the MacBook Pro 16-inch, and if I'm wrong about this, we'll correct it. I believe it's still using a 10 nanometer die. So it can't come close to what AMD is doing on their machines, and then you have what Apple's doing. Intel is the last one in the park, trying to get their stuff out. So the tables have turned. What's very discouraging about that, though, political atmosphere aside, Intel is a full U.S.-based processor manufacturer. They have a lot of jobs out west for that, so it'd be kind of sad to see them have to change their business.
Mm-hmm. But where's Apple's processor being produced?
TSMC in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, so that's the
Which
only bad
is,
part about this. Right.
I think TSMC actually stands for like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's very interesting to see the differences between these companies and the marketing that they're using. I'm doing all of this on an M1 Mac right now, and it's not much bigger than an iPad with a Magic Keyboard, and that's pretty small. And there's more power in this machine than a Surface, so it's pretty incredible, except for the cameras, except for that. Although I could tell you that my video on this camera is much better than my 16-inch Mac. So
I thought you were going to say than Jason's video on his camera.
Or mine.
Because the camera's the same.
yeah. So, if you want to go look all this stuff up, you can online. Renee Ritchie's talked a lot about this. The Twit Network, they talk about this stuff too. So it's all out there. You can look it up. But we wanted to put our 2 cents on it. On to our next topic, the main topic of the show today. This is kind of a very special episode because we're dedicating a lot of time to this. We talk about voice chat applications every now and then, but I think it's a good time to revisit that this time because we're now seeing the emergence of a new app. It's been around for a little while, but it's becoming more accessible, so a lot of the populations of blind users and low vision users are switching to this so that people can talk and meet and get to know folks and that app is Clubhouse, and it's it's been promoted by some very big name folks like Elon Musk and others. But Jason, why don't you explain in your thought, your opinion, and your knowledge, what Clubhouse is and what you feel like it brings to the table that's different?
So it's a wooden structure that sometimes sits in a tree, and you. No, I'm kidding.
Treehouse.
Hey, some tree houses are clubhouses. But yeah, so Clubhouse is, in all seriousness, a social networking app that is centered around audio, and as I see it, it's all about connecting people, and where apps like Team Talk and Discord, and Skype and whatnot are, you can find people on the app too. The difference is if you don't have somebody in your contacts, they can't necessarily join in the conversation for you to be like, hey, this is a cool person, I want to follow them. And so that's what Clubhouse allows you to do. So you have, and it's kind of like a presenter on stage sort of feel. So you have the hallway, which is where it shows like suggested rooms based on your interests and what the algorithm finds for you and things. And then you have, when you're in a room, of the audience, which are just listeners. So people can join the room and just listen to it. You can have up to 5,000 people in a room. Then you have speakers. And the people that are speaking are considered to be on stage. And unlike other apps, when you have more than 2 people in a room, everybody else is an audience member. So if they want to speak, they would raise their hand, and then you, as the moderator of the room, would either give them permission to speak or not, and then they could decide whether they want to continue speaking or go back to the audience. So it'd be really good for like Q&A stuff, but we've been discovering that it's great for connecting people, and it's an invite-only app, and right now it's only available for iOS. But an Android app has been said to be worked on, so they're gonna have an Android app in the future. So I've met some really interesting people on Clubhouse, and it's really fun. I'm glad that an app like this exists. So.
All right, I got to cut for just a second. I did not know that these were low on battery, so I got to change headphones.
Oh.
I was like, what did I do?
No, you did nothing.
For once.
For once, yeah.
So, give me just a second.
Okay.
Perfect time to cut, though.
Right.
Also, I did not intend that to be nearly so long-winded.
I was like, wow.
Okay, fine, say it. You were like, shut up, Nathan.
No. Hey, don't say that on stream. I mean, but no, you really gave a good insight. But they're actually hiring 2 Android engineers, or they said in the town hall, which we
that's
watched.
cool.
Yeah, so if you're an Android engineer, you could go potentially work for Clubhouse.
And if you do, please make sure it works with TalkBack.
Yeah, please just have some basic sense of accessibility. We would thank you.
Remember that TalkBack doesn't have screen recognition.
Right.
Actually, that is something we should mention during the show. So, some of us should mention that it does have some accessibility issues, but
Right.
they're not insurmountable.
Right. Oh, you're popping, Jason.
That wasn't me.
Oh, wasn't it?
Nope, that was not him.
Oh, my
Michael
bad.
hit his mic.
No, I plugged in new headphones, and so it changed devices and stuff. Am I still on my Yeti?
Hit it. Do something to it. No. Wait, have you
No.
been on the internal this whole time?
No, I was on the Yeti.
Why would disconnecting head? That's weird. Oh, because you had them plugged into the Mac itself, didn't you? Your headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's still weird, though.
So Zoom took the Surface headphones and changed to its mic. So I've got to change that.
Uh-oh.
Rude, Zoom.
Come on, Zoom. We know better
Very
than this.
rude indeed.
Right.
Oh, whoops.
Telling you, man, you should get one of these. They're beautiful.
Yes.
I'm thinking about it, actually.
Please do, Michael.
Actually, the Yeti sounds really good for me, so.
No, the Yeti does, but I think this would actually sound really good to you as well. And of course, you wouldn't have to worry about being on top of it all the time. And
Right. Okay. So, do I sound the same as I did?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you should be good.
And it actually sounds better for voice than the Beats did, so that's interesting.
Interesting.
Oh, you were on the Beats before?
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
These actually sound clearer. I don't know how that is.
That's interesting.
All right. So,
Luckily, I was done, so
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm about to count in. Give me just a second.
Okay. I was like, are we going to come back in?
Yeah, of course. All right. Three, two, one. So, Clubhouse is a neat app, but one of the things that we wanted to talk about today is what's the difference between that and two other apps, Discord and Team Talk, that are very popular in the community of blind and low vision users. And, Discord is an app where you can join communities, join servers, and increase your voice quality by using Nitro and do text and video as well, and sharing your screen. Whereas Clubhouse, you can only do voice. You can't even do text, which is kind of a bummer, in my opinion. But I'll go ahead.
Oh. Okay, I guess I'll just go. Sorry. I was like, am I going to be able to get a word in? Okay. So, yeah. It's really a bummer because, like, for example, we were in a room the other night and people were sharing things back and forth. They're like, oh, I have a YouTube channel. So, but you couldn't actually share the link with the chat room. So, it was kind of a scenario where you have, audio, which is great, but how are you going to exchange, links especially? Because people talk about things like, for example, I have a YouTube channel, and I was trying to tell people, okay, it's Taylor's Tech Talks. But, then they have to try to find it real quick, and then they, whereas I could just send them a link and then it'd be a lot easier. So that's where I think some text features would be awesome to have. And also to make sure that the accessibility can get fleshed out.
well, in my concern of having an app that is just an audio app, I know I touched on some differences during my explanation, but Clubhouse being just an audio app, I wonder what kind of features can be added to the app to make sure that we're not excluding individuals who are nonverbal and individuals who are deaf, hard of hearing. I feel like we need to there needs to be features to make it easy for those folks to be able to participate in communities and things too, if there aren't already.
Right, yeah, I'm not sure if there is already. I mean, I did hear something about captioning the other day, but I don't know where I heard that from. But I do know that that's a really important part, because if you want to be fully accessible and you want to comply, having options for not just blind people, but yeah, people nonverbal and, who may, be deaf and hard hearing, they need captions and subtitles, which I'm not sure if Clubhouse provides, or, that'd be just an interesting...
I don't believe they do yet.
No?
No, I don't believe they do yet. But see, here, this brings up a very controversial topic, and I'll be interested to know what y'all's thoughts are on this. Is does every app need to be that compliant? And the reason why I ask this is the goal of the app is to provide a platform for voice. And I understand that it needs to be as accessible as possible and providing captions is very important if they can make it do that. However, I don't feel like that it's possible to make a foolproof captioning service that will be able to get the full uh, detail of a room if you have folks with different accents that it may not understand. And so, the market audience of the app is voice. Uh, so I feel like while yes, every effort should be made to make that happen, there are some times where it's like video games. We cannot make some video games completely accessible for everyone. It would be impossible. So there's just those occasions and times where an audience has to pick where they're going to go to be the most accessible, right?
Right. I understand that, and that is definitely a concern. However, the only concern that I'd have is, let's say that big companies want to use this as a webinar platform for, having a big gathering. Normally what they do is they hire closed captioners, like, the White House, like for their, press briefing, whatever. They hire captioners and interpreters. But if Clubhouse doesn't allow those people to actually type in the captions, live,
Right.
then that could be another thing too. Whereas, obviously not these informal rooms, but if you're talking about a big webinar for like a government agency, they have to be accessible, and you have to be able to add the captions. If somebody like types them out by hand or a live caption or what have you, there has to be features so that all people can be included if this is going to be something that's used in industry.
I don't think it will be though.
Right.
I don't think Clubhouse will be used as an industry standard for webinars. And the reason why I say that, and feel free to disagree, guys, because any feedback is awesome, is because it is invite only, and I don't see it changing from that model anytime soon. Plus, they barely have an iOS version out. They're working on an Android version, and so that's not even desktop. That's not, so.
Right. No, this is like thinking way, way, way down the line. You
Mhm.
know, like this is thinking, when those things become available. Like if it for some reason ever opens up, because they kept talking about that at the town hall today. About they didn't really answer that specific question, but they kept answering, about the whole invite only and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean that's a way, way, way down the line. But it's just saying, if you can have 5,000 people in a room, that's pretty incredible. I don't know if you can even do that with Zoom.
You need in Zoom, you have to have probably an enterprise account.
Right.
Jason, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, it's like I was saying before, like I don't know what being, ensuring that we're trying to include as many people in this as possible would look like. I'm just saying, like, I don't have the already, made solution of, oh, this is exactly how this should work. But I'm just saying that I hope that that is considered in as Clubhouse matures, and things. And I mean, it's not even Clubhouse isn't even perfect for us either. There are definitely some accessibility issues. Now there aren't as many as there apparently used to be. I am very new to Clubhouse myself. I've only been on for a couple of days, but there are parts of the app where you need to use screen recognition in order to access. Like when you go into a room, there's a dialogue thing at the top of the screen asking if you want to enable music mode, which I guess when you connect like an audio interface, it'll allow the app to do stereo, is my understanding. And I guess it's also supposed to allow things that you listen to on your phone to be in stereo. I haven't tried that yet. But in order to access that dialogue, you need screen recognition, and in order to, if it's easier to accept an invite to speak in some ways if you have access to screen recognition. And I'm saying that as a caveat because not all devices have access to screen recognition. It's the iPhone 10s and up, I believe, that have access to it. So my iPad, for instance, I don't have it if I were using that app on my iPad, or if I had an iPhone 8 or a the
7.
iPhone 7
10R,
or the
right?
yeah, anything that's not like the iPhone 10s and newer. And so, and I would like to hope that these issues are something that's going to get fixed in the future. I mean, judging by people I've talked to, it does sound like the developer is very responsive to accessibility feedback, which is great. I'm really glad to see that. But right now, in its current version, there are definitely some issues. So it's still new, it's growing, and it's definitely an interesting app, I will say.
And as far as they're still pretty new, like we said, but I think a lot of these apps are really making leaps and bounds, like compared to where they used to be. For example, Discord had a lot of accessibility problems, and they still have a few areas where there's problems. But the whole point of our show is to kind of compare them. Discord is very good for communities that know each other, um, and a lot of YouTube channels and folks use it. The nice thing about Discord is you have a little more options. You have the text chat. You can add bots. You can add a lot of other things, and typically their servers don't overload like Clubhouse did last Wednesday. Yeah, that was very amusing. Uh, it was
Yeah.
a, it's you know, Discord is kind of a come in and out at your own pace. But one of the things that Discord does not do is social discovery. I mean, if you join a community in a server, you can meet people, but people don't have to go by their actual name on Discord. They could use a nickname. They could be anybody they want to be. Where on Clubhouse, you're really promoting yourself, and I like that. And I guess people could log in as a different name, if they change it. But I think that kind of goes against the rules of the platform.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it does. I did read through the rules when I had first signed up, and I remember seeing something about that.
And they said it very, very, very clear in the town hall today.
Yes, especially no accounts for branding, no
Business accounts.
business branding or anything in that. So, um, and you'll be able to create clubs, which are kind of like Discord servers or Team Talk servers, but right now you're limited to one per user, so that's interesting as well. Um, and I think we've talked about the two, and Team Talk can do similar things, but you have to know the address of the server you want to connect to and have a login credential or have it be an open server. But it does very similar things. But the difference between Team Talk and these others is Team Talk does allow for a little bit of higher audio fidelity on iOS with the use of the Ambios and some other headsets. So I don't know if music mode in Clubhouse will do that with the Ambios. Do you know, Jason?
I believe I was told that the Ambios would still use their rather weak telephone microphone.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
That's, yeah.
But Team Talk will actually use the Ambios. But it's all in how they do these things, because Team Talk takes over the music stack, so it replaces music, whereas these other apps use some kind of in-call state. So,
And honestly, I mean, that's not terribly surprising, even though it does make me a little bit sad because, I mean, whether or not you want to admit it, Lightning headphones and wired headphones are actively kind of being killed by consumer companies like Apple, because Apple is pushing more toward Bluetooth and wireless headphones and wireless charging and whatnot, and all the rumors about having a portless iPhone, which is a completely different show. But
right.
so wired headphones and getting really interesting Lightning headphones, it seems to be a little harder to come by, which unfortunately it is what it is. But so that's not too terribly surprising. And based on what I heard from two different people using AirPods Max, I mean, it's pretty clear. It's not, as good as, say, my setup here with this microphone and my wired headphones, but it's very clear clearest Bluetooth headset ever. And I mean, so maybe we'll get to the point where it won't be such of a deal, but right now it's kind of makes me sad a little bit.
Right. So, I mean, it's all a work, in progress on all these platforms, but we still use Team Talk for certain things, like our unbox cast. When we unbox this Mac that I'm talking on, we use Team Talk, but we use Discord for our community stuff. And I personally use Clubhouse for discovery, like to find people, to learn, you know, what everybody's up to, and just to talk to people that I would not normally talk to. And I think that's a very good use of the app because they send notifications so and so that you're following is talking in whatever room. And I can create a room and I could get 5 people in there in less than 10 minutes, which is really
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
cool. Taylor, what is your primary use of the app? What do you find to be the most useful thing about it?
Yeah, so I really love Clubhouse, like I said, Discovery. Just having a great time. I mean, like I said, obviously, COVID is still around. So, our in person interaction is very limited in some, wherever, depending where you are. But I find it to be kind of a, great place where you can talk to a bunch of people, just kind of relax. And, it's not like it's anything formal. I don't have to be on video or any of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I find it, like I said, social discovery or, just kind of if I need a place to talk, it's just kind of a great place and I can kind of discover things. I can also learn things because there are sometimes rooms where there's like a panel and you can like learn a lot of things that, you would need to like pay for at conferences sometimes. I saw YouTube videos where people actually, they teach a lot of different things on Clubhouse. I mean, there's like entrepreneurship stuff. There's just a whole bunch of other things too. So that's another great value also is that it can be used to actually level up.
I think a really good, concise thing that I could say about Clubhouse is it really seems to humanize people. And what I mean by that is, if you never know who you could end up with in a Clubhouse room. I mean, a completely unrelated room, you might the potential exists that you might end up with, somebody famous, and you may recognize them, you may not, but I mean, it kind of it reminds you that people are human. People are people, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Now, I will say there's some drawbacks to Clubhouse, and that is that when you're a room moderator, when you create a room, you have to be in charge of bringing people in as speakers, always introducing the room when they join, which can be kind of a headache when you're in the middle of a conversation talking about something. You have to kind of decide how you're going to handle it, if you're going to invite everybody in the audience to speak, which is kind of the frowned upon method, or if you're going to allow people just to raise their hand and if they want to speak. So you're always working on something as a moderator if you get people in and out of your room, and that also depends on your popularity. So I have 50 something followers, or however many, I don't remember anymore.
53.
Yeah, there you go. And unless that changed in the last hour or so.
Yeah.
Which it could have. And all those followers following you see when you create or join a room. So they can know, okay, if I want to talk to him, I go here. So, which also is kind of cool, but also kind of, a way for people to stalk you. So you have to be careful. So it's all depending on what you prefer. So there's a lot of management in this app that you have to do to be effective. And when you invite folks, it's your reputation at risk if they abuse the system or not. So you can lose, abilities and different things on Clubhouse if people you invite are disruptive and things like that. So that's a thing to keep in mind as well.
Which I think overall hopefully means that the Clubhouse community overall should hopefully stay at a higher caliber than what you might find elsewhere. And one thing I can say about being an admin of a room too is it's not always an easy task because
No.
you don't really have good indicators, at least with voiceover, when people are raising their hand and whatnot. And because you do, but it really kind of almost requires that you constantly keep your screen unlocked, which Clubhouse doesn't seem to let your screen lock. You can.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can lock your screen and you'll still stay connected, but it almost seems like, especially if you're a voiceover user, you're going to want to keep your screen unlocked because as of right now, there is an indicator that shows how many people are raising their hand, but it only shows up as a number that, to voiceover at least, I don't know if this is visually true, but it's next to the toggle mute button. And so when you see a number there, then you know that there are people that are ready to speak, that have raised their hand and asked for permission to speak.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
It's right next to the invite button visually.
Weird. Because I've never seen that with voiceover. I never see a number ever.
Yeah, if you do a four-finger tap,
Oh.
it'll jump you to that because in the flick order it's next to the toggle mute button. So if it just says toggle mute button, then most likely there isn't anybody that are trying to raise their hand.
Interesting.
Yeah. And of course, even at the time when we're recording this is the state of the app, and this may change in a week
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because they're very active on development of this app. So keep those things in mind too. I would be very curious to know how they're monetizing this app as well.
yeah. I wonder if they're gonna have like, somebody was talking in a room about maybe they'll do paid clubs and take the processing fees or whatever for people who are paying for the subscription to your club or
Yeah, they did
something
have
like that,
answered
maybe.
that question. Oh, sorry, Jason. They did have answered that question in the town hall today. And what I could understand is that, it's all about the subscription, like for creators to monetize. So they could, pay to join the club. And yeah, like Jason said, the Clubhouse will take a fee for like the processing. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they can be profitable. I mean, because right now, obviously, they're probably getting a lot of like startup money. But, who knows how long that can last. But it's definitely a cool app, though.
Yeah,
Right.
I hope that they can remain profitable and stay around for a long time.
Discord gets its money through Nitro subscriptions, which is $10 a month, and they give different perks for the more boosts you boost a server. So it's interesting to see how this one works as well, or will work with monetization.
Yeah. And I do have to say, signing up for Clubhouse for me was relatively easy when I had an invite because I don't even think it gave me a password. It was just, we've sent a code to your phone and give us the code, and then I had my account.
Also, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I do sometimes wish there was like a desktop app, but I mean, make it work right now.
Also, there is, as a pro tip, if you join the Clubhouse waiting list, right? If you join the waiting list and you have a contact that is on Clubhouse, they can invite you without going against their invite list.
Oh, I
So,
didn't know that.
yes.
I knew
Yes.
I knew they could, but I didn't know it didn't go against your invite count.
Correct. If they're already on the waiting list, you can let them in and it will not go against your invite limit.
That's cool.
So I've gotten a few that said so and so is on the Clubhouse waiting list. Would you like to let them in? So, but again, based on who you let in, how many people they connect with, and how good they do on Clubhouse is based on how many invites that you are allotted. So I want to caution people on that to just not invite just anybody.
Right.
It is a merit system that they use, and it's an algorithm. So I would keep those things in mind. So my last thing about this, Clubhouse uses a moderation technique where Team Talk and Discord, you have to basically uh, everybody has permission to speak unless they have a role that says they can only listen. Whereas this is different. So I would not go into Clubhouse with the same mindset as you do with managing a Team Talk or Discord server. It's not the same. And one thing that we did not mention is when you leave a room that's given a topic, if you make a topic for a room and you leave that room and you're the moderator, that room's gone. It will
Yeah.
end it for everybody. So that's the only draw. Like I wish you could make permanent rooms if you have a certain level. That would be kind of cool. But those are things to keep in mind.
I mean, that being said, if you had trusted people, you could always like work out, maybe moderation shifts
Right.
to keep the room active. But
Yeah.
I will definitely say like one thing that I'm noticing about Clubhouse is that like I get into kind of a mindset when doing these shows, and I notice that Clubhouse really kind of gets me into that mindset, so I don't feel like and it's to be expected depending on the type of room you go into, but it's like you said, like with Discord I feel like I can relax, I can be whatever, but with Clubhouse I especially certain room types do kind of feel like I'm on a podcast a lot of the time.
See, I don't feel like I don't feel like that. If I go into a room, uh, well, it depends. It depends on you gauge the room, right? If people are cutting up and hanging out, like our
Right, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the room dynamics, but
kind of like we're starting a room series nightly on Clubhouse called the Technology Social Lounge, and so anybody that's on Clubhouse, come hang out with us. Usually every night we're going to be doing this. So I would say that it just depends on the room. Like our rooms are very easygoing, very relaxed. So it just depends on what you're looking for. There are some very professional rooms that you do not, cut up in.
and speaking of, we noticed that the push notifications, if somebody from a different time zone, and again, this may change, but as of right now, if somebody from a different time zone schedules a room, when you get the push notification will be set in whatever time zone they scheduled it in. So, for instance, we scheduled ours, for 7:30. That's Central Time, and because I'm in Eastern Time, of course, for me that's 8:30. So when I actually look at the room itself, it says 8:30 in the hallway. I think that would be the hallway, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it says 8:30 in the hallway, but the notification said 7:30. So that's something to be aware of.
Yep, for sure.
But it really is a nice app. I really like it.
So I'm out of curiosity, which ones are your preference? Team Talk, Discord, or Clubhouse? Which one do you like ultimately better?
Huh.
I think I think right now I would have to say Discord just because it is a really accessible now. I mean, yes, it still has weird issues, but it's, fairly accessible. It's really good now. And I think it's just because I know that the people that are generally on Discord, at least for our specific server, are people that know me. So I don't have to, like I said, try to at different, make sure that I'm my more professional self, which it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice knowing that there's a space where it can be goofy sometimes. And like we said, you do get that on Clubhouse, but it's not always. But yeah, right now I think I have to give it to Discord.
Well, and the other cool thing is, and Taylor, I'm going to ask you the same question, uh,
Okay.
but basically, what I like about Discord is you could create your own server. Like you could create your own server that you just invite a few people to, and make it where they can't invite anybody else, and it's just your little area of like, this is my group, this is my peeps. I've got everything I want right here. Clubhouse, you can't really do that. So,
Right.
and that's really the same with Team Talk. I mean, Team Talk is more so that way. You create a server, and it's just your people. So, you know. So Taylor, like I said, what is your favorite app?
I would say Discord also. I mean, because like I said, they're all great for different purposes. I know that for my specific use case for my YouTube channel, I have a members only Discord where it's like I said, it's my people that have been really active on the channel and that have a membership and that it's a community. We talk, we do whatever, but Clubhouse is great for discovery, and I probably will be creating a club for my YouTube channel where just it's just kind of a free hangout zone. Not really hangout, but like kind of a different kind of vibe. But still, I think like I said, Discord's my favorite, but I would not underestimate Clubhouse either.
Right, and I'm kind of I'm in the same position as you two. I like Discord because of the configuration, the role system. I really like that, and the ability to use bots and configure things like that. So I think the power there is still at Discord, but I find myself not on Discord as much because of discovery, and that kind of leads me into something I'm going to talk about next, and that is new links at iAccessibility.net. We now have a link that will take you to our channel on YouTube. So you can now go to iAccessibility.net/YouTube, and you could easily subscribe that way to our channel. And you could go to iAccessibility.net/Discord, and you can join the iAccessibility community. I will tell you that you will not be able to get on voice chat and text chat until I or one of the moderators approve you. So just be aware you might get a DM saying, hi there, welcome, and please tell us why you want to be on the iAccessibility community server. So all of those things are there, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you, and we feel like that'll make it very easy for people to join these community locations. So with all that being said and done and talked about, Jason, where can people find you online?
People can find me online producing content for iAccessibility. You can email me at jason@iAccessibility.net. You can search for me on Facebook. Just search for Jason Earls. You can search for me on Twitter. Just search for I am at JDE91. I don't post often, but I do promise I exist. If you add me to social media, just let me know that you found me from the iACast. And if you do happen to see me on Clubhouse, feel free to say hi there as well.
All right. Taylor, where can people find you online?
You can find me in a lot of places. So first off, Twitter. That is basically where I, do a lot of things. So Taylor_Arndt22. Let's actually get that right this time. Kept saying the wrong Twitter handle for a while. You can also find me on Clubhouse, same username. And yeah, I say hi there. You can find my new YouTube channel at Taylor's Tech Talks, where I do tech content. We're doing some programming stuff right now. You can also find me on Facebook at Taylor Arndt. But again, I really don't post on Facebook hardly at all. But if you do find me on any of these social media platforms, please say where you found me. iACast, and yeah. And obviously, I produce content for iAccessibility, so you can also email me at taylor@iAccessibility.net.
All right. You can find me, Michael Doise, producing content for iAccessibility. You can email me at Mike Doise, that's MikeDoise at iAccessibility.net. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Doise. I am, if you want to find me on Discord, I am Mike Doise, and the number is 1001. I used Nitro, so I changed my number. I love it. You can find me on my website, michaeldoise.com, and all over the internet. I'm on Facebook. Just search for Michael Doise. And I also have a YouTube channel that I'm bringing back, Michael Doise. Just search for me on YouTube. So I want to thank everybody for being here this time on the iACast. We will be back in 2 weeks for another episode. We promise this time. And we will see you then for another episode of the iACast. And thank you so much for being here, and hope to see you on social media, Clubhouse, or everywhere else. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.